Hi, and welcome to Real Trail Talk. I am Donovan D'Souza from The Long Ways Better.
And I'm Mark Pybus from The Life of Pi. Welcome to episode 102. We have a very special guest today. We have Dr. Kate Grarock, aka Doc Rock. Welcome, Kate.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So today we are talking about hiking with children, or getting out into nature with children. And we've got Kate on mainly because we really wanted to have Kate on in the past 100 episodes, but we haven't really made that happen. So it's good to finally have you on, Kate. For those that don't know Kate from her Alone fame, Kate is also an environmental scientist, a bush blitzer, a hiker, a YouTuber, and for this podcast, importantly, a mum. So we'll get stuck into the topic. At what age did you both take your kids on their first hikes?
Yeah, so I mean, I probably got my daughter out pretty early on, just for day hikes. Maybe 6 to 8 months. We sort of got her outdoors. But probably took till about 2 years old till we got her for an overnight hike.
And Donovan, when did you first get Miles out?
Yeah, so we had Miles out on his first one less than a month old. I think Alyssa thought I was a bit crazy. We had one of those, those harness strap things that he was in. And he was so tiny.
Yeah.
And we did, for people in Perth who know Whistlepipe Gully, the fairly short walk, that was the first one that we did with Miles. And it wasn't until last year that we did multi-day with Miles, so the first one.
How old is he now?
He's 3.5 at the moment.
Cute.
So
Pretty similar.
he was just 3 when we did it, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So no hardcore Taswegian taking your kid when they're 6
Western
months
Alps.
old into the mountains for
Chucking them across like crevasse.
Nothing. Yeah. Well, let's talk about the logistics of taking kids, especially ones that can't walk that well or that fast.
Yeah.
Or at all.
Or at all. What kind of like equipment do you need, like specialist equipment to get them out and comfortable as well?
Yeah, I guess for me, like obviously the simple one is a method of carrying them. So whether that be a specialised backpack that carries your kid and your gear, or whether it be like a baby carrier that would go sort of around your waist, and you could carry them on the front and have your gear on the back. That's, I think, the main one.
Yeah, so I think I had a similar experience. We started with the front carrier, and I think that it was kind of interesting because you start with them they face you, and that's maybe a bit less engaging for them.
Yep.
And then they face forward, and then they love it, and then it's even better with the backpack, I think.
Yeah.
But worse for the adult.
Yes, you can't see where your feet go, which is kind of concerning when you're carrying a small child. You're like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's challenging. Yeah.
And
like it's like this balance of like this. I don't know, it must be like a beautiful little graph you could draw of like the bigger they get, the more they weigh. But they can start to walk a little bit, but you can't really carry them, and so there's this sort of a delicate balance, isn't there, in the hiking world of kids?
Absolutely, yeah.
It's kind of like the reverse of how hikers get into hiking, where you start off with heavy gear, and then you transition into ultralight with kids. Your kid is ultralight to start with, and then you can't help it.
But you just got to train them to walk.
Yeah, yep. I definitely found that, with Miles being able to walk, that when he's walking, it's like the best because it's so light, and Alyssa's carrying the gear.
You're like, ooh.
But as soon as you have to carry him, oh boy.
Yeah, it can really get challenging, especially if you have to do like decent distances. I think that's the big one I've noticed is like anytime we're trying to we've overstretched how far we need to go, it starts to get challenging because you're like, you're not just happy to sit there and look at the rock for half an hour because you're like, come on, we've still got another K. Or, I think it's short distances is the real trick when you've got the little ones on foot.
Yeah.
So in terms of like overnight hiking, you've got the specialized packs where the kid can sit behind your shoulders, basically.
Yeah.
How much can they then carry in terms of gear as well?
Yeah, did you want to take that one, Donovan? Or?
Yeah, not a lot.
Yeah.
So, in those circumstances, really the other person, so like, Alyssa had to carry most of the actual gear.
Yeah.
So the first overnight we did was, Miles was 2 when we did the first overnight, and then the multi-day that we did, he was 3. In that instance, Alyssa basically had to carry everything, and I carried Miles, and then just a few things for Miles.
Yeah, that's the problem with those things. Like, I mean, I think that Osprey Poco or whatever it is, amazing. I actually took a significant fall with my daughter in there when she was young, and I thought, oh my God. And she just laughed. Like, it's so safe. Like, she sort of like just got jiggled around like a little gyro in there.
Yep.
And so it is really good for the child because they're all enclosed, but, you can't carry much stuff in there. It's like maybe 5 litres. I think we got the extended one that had a little bit more room. But then no one else in my family could actually carry it because the backpack alone is 3 kilos. You put a 5 kilo kid in there, then gear, it's starting to get a bit more challenging for perhaps smaller people. So we found that was really limited. It was, a bit challenging, the baby carrier backpack.
Yeah, So we had a plan at one stage when I was doing the Cape to Cape that they were going to join me, and obviously I had all my stuff because I was walking the whole way.
Yeah.
And then they were going to walk from Margaret River itself to like the river mouth.
Yeah, beautiful.
To Contos.
Yep. Oh, nice.
And we quickly realized that Alyssa carrying all the gear for herself and Miles was just impossible.
Yeah,
It's like over 20 Ks, isn't it, that day?
It's a long day.
Yeah.
And to carry all of that gear, like we had, we tried it out. We strapped things to the sides because, there's no capacity.
Yeah.
And we just went, what are we doing? This is not going to work.
I mean, even the technicalities of what you actually need, like, say you and your partner are into hiking, you've already got all the gear, but then, like, what do you actually do to accommodate the child being in the tent with you? Do you need a bigger tent? Do you need an extra air pad? Do they just sleep with you? Like there are all the complexities that we had to go through that just start to get pretty challenging with an overnight hike.
Yeah.
So in terms of that, how much extra gear do you think you would pack for one tiny small human?
A lot, hey, and I think, because I'm certainly more cautious when I'm hiking with my daughter. So, there's these extra woolen suits because it could get cold or this and that. And then nappies are never good. Like as an ultralight hiker, a wet nappy, carrying that out, you're just like, this thing weighs a ton.
Yeah.
I wish there was a method for drying them out before you had to hike with them again. But, so like we do a setup where I have like a double air pad that my partner and my daughter sleep on, and then I sleep on a air pad next to them in the tent, and then they have like a double quilt and I have just a sleeping bag. So I'm sort of like just keep my independent gear, and we take sort of double person gear for them, and it's a fair bit of extra gear. I don't know, when you've only got 2 people carrying it.
I know when we did our first overnight, so we picked a pretty easy one. So we walked to we walked to the summit of Mount Clare, so from the car park. So for people who know the Walpole Wilderness area, it's a pretty short walk up to the top and then back to the car park. Really just to, get him used to the idea of camping overnight.
Yeah.
And we had 2 tents. One was a Durston and one was a Big Agnes. So, the Durston doesn't add up to very much weight at all. But we've found a few things, in that first camping experience where Miles had a smaller mat that was lower and not the same height, and what we should have done was given him my mat so that Alyssa and Miles had the exact same size and height of mat.
Yeah.
So they were in the Durston, I was in the Big Agnes, and if we did it again, certainly we would have had, I would have taken another mat that was just for me, and then they have the same height mats so that it's more compatible. Yeah,
it's challenging, isn't it? And then I don't know if your Miles is a wiggler, but like that's why we got the double mat, because my daughter's such a wiggler. She'd just go into the middle of the mats, and you're like, so you was just trying to like corral them. And the other day when we went hiking, the poor thing, she like went right up to the edge of the dome, like the mozzie, and then so like she got some mozzie bites just on her head where she was like pushing against the fly net. Poor kid. Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's not easy. It's fun, but it's not easy. I remember one hike, just going off a tangent, like I was just like frazzled because it was just me and her, and I'm just like, oh, why have I even done this? And then she just turns to me, she goes, I love camping with you, Mum. And I'm like, okay, that's why I'm doing it. That's why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Is that like the Men in Black, like memory eraser? Or
Yeah, yeah.
all the pain gone? It's gone.
All the frustrations, yeah.
Yeah. So what are some strategies that you both use to make a hike more kid-friendly, whether that's like a day hike or an overnight, a multi-day?
Do you want me to do it? I think, it's making it short. I think that's a big one. Making it easy. Like, I'm always like, oh, maybe I could go here, I could go a bit further. And then I'm like, no, like, I just need to get realistic and realise that sometimes 1 kilometre is a good hike. Obviously, I've heard that you can I heard someone say online that the age of your kid is almost how many kilometres they can walk. And I'm trying to sort of work towards that. My daughter Juno, she's just turned 4, and I think on a good day we can get 4Ks out of her, but it can be hard. So I think the big trick is just to make it short and give yourself enough time to sit around and look at leaves and rocks and yeah,
absolutely. I think all those distractions and things that take a while, you just have to embrace that's just what it is. We're hiking with kids.
And I mean that's why you're taking them out there, isn't it, to absorb nature and be with nature.
Absolutely.
I've certainly found like when we've been hiking with friends, like especially Whistlepipe Gully is a popular one, and they're like, oh, I just want to sit here and play with my diggers in the creek, and we're like, that's great, but we don't really have half an hour to do that.
Speaking of creeks, pretty much every time there's a creek, Miles will want to play in the creeks and have a splash. So we always make sure, that's a really great motivator for him, is if there's some water that he gets to splash in the creek. A few other things we've done, when we did the Grand Canyon in the Blue Mountains, we had a Gruffalo toy, and we told him, it's going to be a Gruffalo hidden somewhere. You got to keep your eye out. And then we put the Gruffalos, so for him to discover. I will say, walking out of the Grand Canyon and carrying a child, not so fun.
No, the elevation change can be good.
No.
We love to Juno loves, because I got my hiking poles are those extendable ones, and so they actually crush down to about this height, and she loves to walk with them, that really fires her along pretty quickly on the trail. And she also likes to be the leader. So as long as you're all behind her, she'll sort of power along pretty well. And then, there's always the treats that we had to whip out once on trail. We did a big hike recently, and we just only about a K from it, and I'm like, okay, and out came the ring pop or whatever it is. It's like a lollipop that's on a ring, and she's like, oh yeah, I'll walk for that. And then she just powers ahead, because you think they're tired, and then you just some sort of motivation, and they can power on a bit further.
I certainly think that trekking poles are for some reason just a lot of fun.
As long as they keep them down, because those trekking pole ends can be deadly when they're waving them around at you.
We for the multi-day that we did with Miles, we did the Maramarang South Coast Walk, and all of the beaches, he loved it. It was great because he wanted to get out and wanted to walk. And obviously he's just not capable of walking the distances. But every time there was a beach, we let him out, and he loved it.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Picking stuff off from the sand, he loved that.
How far is that trail per day, roundabout?
The last day is quite long. I think it's 27 on the last day, but then the other days are 13
That's
Ks.
bonkers.
They're not. Yeah.
And you carried him all that.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
I will say, so the trick of that one
Yeah.
is you go to accommodation, so we didn't have to carry quite as much.
Yeah, that's okay then. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's one I really would recommend to people as a good entry to doing a multi-day.
Not having to have all the hiking gear,
Yep.
Yeah.
But Alyssa did have to walk from the first night hut to the next hut with all our gear. But it's, because it's, you don't have to have a tent and all of that stuff is much easier.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, that's a good idea.
Because you just finished the light to light walk.
Yeah, we did the light to light.
How did that go?
Look, it was definitely challenging. We did it with my partner Elsie and her 2 siblings and their partner, so there's 6 adults, and then my daughter Juno, who's 4. And I think we got some of the configuration wrong early on, and like I was just trying to carry like my full pack, like, and my daughter, and so that's like 35 kilos. And I just remember one stage,
and
like,
you have light gear. You have very light gear.
My partner was trying to talk to me about something, and I just remember being like, dude, like, stop talking to me. I can't. I'm just getting crushed under this weight. And then I was like, oh, it's time for me to stop and like let someone else carry my daughter. But then what we did, we reconfigured things. So like one of the siblings took my tent, which is like 2 kilo tent. Another person took like this other pack of Elsie's, my partner's, and then just reconfigured. So basically my pack was a lot lighter, Elsie's pack was a lot lighter. Actually, and then that's what I ended up doing. I put Elsie's pack on top of mine, and so that Elsie could just carry our daughter. So anyway, it probably wasn't our best effort, but and then the other thing we did is the last day is like a 14k day, but you can easily get a car in. It's only 5k's from the you could just do 5k. So Elsie and her brother and my daughter just stopped at Batangaby Bay, which is it's probably the most beautiful place there. They just stopped there and splashed in the water, while the rest of us, we dropped our packs too and just powered out the last sort of 9k's, got the car and came back and got them. So I think just making those shorter days made it much more pleasant. But it was great. But there's some days I think we're all tired.
Yeah, because I'm not a parent myself, but I do have my sister's kids, and at age 10 they get to come out with me on a section of the Bibbulmun.
Oh, cool.
And it is difficult sometimes to keep their interest. Like you can kind of see them waning a little bit. So definitely snacks is a big thing. Yeah. Giving them my camera seems to be the best one, because then they're like focused in on like things around them. They're not just kind of idly walking. Yeah. That's a good one if you've got older kids, is give them something to do like that relates to the hike. Yeah.
Yeah. My daughter's really good like that when we get to camp. She loves to help. So it's like I'll give her like the tent pegs, and so she'll follow me around and like I'll put one peg in, next peg, and when she's not jumping on my ultralight fabric, and I'm like, please keep that away.
Where did you get those crampons from? Why are you wearing them now?
No. But nah, she's pretty good. I think hopefully she'll be a hiker. I'm really scared. I know like like the Mont is a Canberra brand, not to plug them, but like I remember like one of the cousins is like a friend of a friend, and he hates hiking. He hates it with a passion. I'm like, what? Like, you're part of the Mont family? And he's like, they drag me everywhere, like through the snow and through here and through there. And I'm like, okay, I want to make it a pleasant experience for my daughter, but not like drag her too much horrible. But also, there is something beautiful about, pushing them a little bit. And I remember we've sort of gotten somewhere on the light to light, and I pointed back to the original lighthouse that we started at, and she was like, what? We've come all this way. Like that beautiful realization of how far they have actually traveled. Yeah. So there's a balance.
So as two people that have done a lot of hiking before becoming parents, what did you think hiking with kids was going to be like before having them? And then what has it been like in reality?
Oof, I'll let you go with that.
So I know Alyssa and I, when we did the Overland, we saw a couple with a baby doing a section of the Overland.
Yay.
And we were like, we're going to be those people. We're going to be hardcore. We also, when we did the Mundabiddy, we saw a pizza couple in Donnelly River Village. And they're like, we traveled through South America with our kids, and it was amazing. And they were like babies at the time. And then Alyssa became a mum. And she's just like, I do not want to do
Hell no, dude.
So you kind of realize, I think it's not just sometimes about the kids, but like how you change as a person. So, Alyssa, I think, realized that this wasn't really something she wanted to do, and she had a lot of anxiety. And I think that, being in a hiking, camping situation only heightened that anxiety of that experience. So,
absolutely.
Certainly changed that. We were like, we're going to be that adventure couple who go out with the baby, and it didn't happen. And that's fine. We found a way to make it work, and I think we adapted to what would work for Miles and would work for Alyssa.
Yeah.
And what sort of happened, I think, with that is whenever I've hiked with them, we pick things that will be really suitable. So Maramarang, we knew there was accommodation options, so we were going to be able to do that quite easily.
Yeah.
And that was inviting for Alyssa and easier for Miles. And then I've sort of, as a result, whenever I'm hiking by myself, I'd probably do much more hardcore hikes than I normally would, because I'm like, well, I might as well do them since I'm by myself and don't have to think about anyone else's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a beauty that comes from that of like, when you do hike with your children, or, you're ultra protective of them, and you don't want things to go wrong. But then when you do get the free reins to do your own hike, you're like, well, hang on, let's go crazy and like
let's go do the dusky track.
Yeah. What can I do to myself? It's an interesting one, isn't it? But then there's also a part of me that, so I got like a Zolio, like a satellite messaging device, just so I can now get check-ins to make sure if everything's good at home. So you get like a bit more worried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think the first multi-day that I did after having Miles was the South Coast track. Oof. And I was missing Alyssa and Miles the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. It is hard, isn't it? But then it's also awesome. He's like, whoa.
Yeah.
I did a hike the other day with just my mate, and we pulled up camp about 4 p.m. and I'm like, what do I do? There's not 20 tasks to do, showers and putting kids to bed and and I was just like, I had to sort of just be like, just look at the river and enjoy nature. And I was like, oh, this is so weird.
Yeah. Because I feel like, Donovan, you've got this window now where if you're not hiking with Alyssa or Miles, you're like, what's the most extreme thing I can do? Like an overland in winter, the dusty track.
Yeah, certainly that's sort of driven me in that direction. And Alyssa said to me, she said, look, I don't want to join you on these hikes ever. Yeah. and now that I can't join you at all because I'm looking after Miles, someone has to stay home.
Yeah.
It makes sense that you go and do the crazy ones.
Yeah, cool.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep.
I have gotten a bit lazy in some of my hikes too, just enjoying a shorter trail on my own, and but yeah, I guess it's a balance. It's nice to do a hard one and just be like, I've still got it.
But also I think with what you're saying there, I also kind of feel, I probably would have been one of the sort of people who, there was that video on YouTube that a guy made about soulless modern trails that are too easy and things like that. And
I haven't seen that.
I kind of now feel, no, there's a place for that. Like the Maramarang, someone might say, oh, that's too easy. There's accommodation.
Absolutely.
I'm like, no, but there's when you're young and you're in your 20s and you're fit and you can do some crazy difficult stuff, the really difficult stuff is the stuff you want to do.
Yeah.
But at different life stages, there's a place for an easy trail.
Yeah, and that's why, I've hiked the Light to Light in a day, which is 30 k's total, but doing it over 3 days was beautiful. You get in and you go down to the beach and hang out. One of the people we were with was a fisher person, so they were out there, having a bit of a cast, and there's, I guess, other parts to the hiking. It's not, some hikes are fun where you just dusk to dawn hiking and putting up your tent in the dark, and that's fun once in a while, but there's definitely different hikes out there.
Yeah. So you both expressed that you're still kind of solo hikers while having kids. How important is it to have a supportive partner at home when you do want to go out and do those adventures on your own?
Yeah, absolutely critical. Just wouldn't happen without that support, and hopefully I can then support my partner to have her, whatever her passions are. She's an artist, so she likes to have days where she can do art uninterrupted. But yeah, I think it's nice, but then it's also hard to not just be like, okay, my activity, your activity. You actually want to spend some time together as a family too, which can be really hard to find time for. We struggle with the balance sometimes.
I certainly feel, because I get the good fortune of the opportunity to go and do these hikes, that I try to be more present when I'm here. So, you know, our weekends, I try to do stuff where we do stuff as a family. So one of the things I say is that Miles is probably more now into going on bike rides than he is hikes. We have a little child seat that he has with me.
Yeah.
So we go on bike adventures and go and, you know, just have, you know, just have fun in the city as a family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. I've sort of mastered the art too of like what I call like a 24-hour hike. Would it be 24 hours? Like I'll leave at like say 11 and then get back by maybe 11ish the next day. So trying to find ones kind of close, like a little micro adventure, but I still get my cup filled in that way, but still get a bit of a weekend with the family. So that's nice.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to put you both on the spot now. Can you give me a couple of examples, both good and bad, that you've had hiking with your children?
Good and bad. Who goes first?
You can go first.
I think it's just that for me, I can feel like it can be really frustrating, you know, when you get to camp and you're tired because, you know, you've probably been lugging around 35 kilos or, you know, 20 kilos or, you know, whatever it is. And then you finally get to camp and you're trying to set things up, but, you know, they haven't really probably done that much hiking. So they've got full of beans and they're like jumping on your, you know, tent and you're trying to direct them and trying to get them, you know, to engage in what you're doing, but it can be really frustrating when you yourself are tired. I find that really hard, is like you don't have that patience to deal with some of the bigger feelings. It's also hard for me. My partner gave birth to our daughter, so she's a bit more clingy with Elsie, and so when she is with me and I'm putting her down, sometimes she can get really upset, I guess, that she's not there with her mama. And so that feels bad. I'm like, oh my God, I dragged this poor kid out here and she's just like really sad and in her tent and wants her mama. And I'm like, oh, so that's pretty challenging. But I think, you know, like I said before, she turns around that night or the next day and says how much she loves it and raves about it for the next, you know, few weeks or whatever. I think the best bits are like when you see them really click about how amazing, like she calls herself a nature girl now, which I'm just like, oh my God, yes. Or that how proud she was when I pointed out how far we'd hiked, or even just like a little day hike we do around here. I'm like, look, that's where we started. And I think they're the highs.
Donovan?
So I'll go with the lows first.
Yeah.
I think one low was, so when we went to Sydney to do the Marmarang, we were also going to do the Grand Clifftop Walk in the Blue Mountains. Again, a very convenient one that's easy to do with kids because you finish each day near public transport, go back to your hotel, go back out. It was super windy, and I think he'd already done enough hiking and was just hiked out. And so walking along the cliff tops, and while it's quite easy, it's all very exposed. So he was pretty scared. So we had to pull out of that one. So I think, you know, sometimes you got to know when you got to call it quits.
Yeah, that's the hard one, isn't it?
Yeah, so that was hard because, you know, I put my leave aside to go and do this hike and then not to do it. So, yeah, we had to make a decision, and I said, look, I don't think this is going to be fun for everyone. So let's call it quits.
Yeah.
So that was one bad experience. I think particularly early on when Miles was in the forward, you know, like facing towards you carrier, he didn't like it a lot of the time. Yeah. He just couldn't see. And also I think I felt he got pretty hot from the body.
That's hard, hey, yeah.
Yeah. So those were things that I saw him just not enjoying himself.
Yeah.
But then I love when we go on a coastal hike and, you know, he picks up shells and he gets to explore and, you know, have a bit of a splash in a creek, those sort of things. And because I'm such a big gardener and he's got such a passion from watching me do it, whenever we go out and we see flowers, which Mark is finding very funny.
He can name every single plant with its Latin name.
It's really cool, isn't it?
Yeah, so, you know, he knows all these plant names. And it's funny because I don't hike for wildflowers, really.
Yeah.
I really go to botanic gardens for wildflowers. But now, because of that, he has that enjoyment when we go out and we see wildflowers. And Mark is laughing because for years I've given Mark shit about
all these flowers,
how much of an orchid man he is.
Yeah. I mean, it's personal growth that it's taken you to have a child for you to now appreciate the spectacular flora of WA.
I'd say a lot of it is just the distribution of the excellence is just often not great on some of our trails for various reasons we've talked about. But whenever we do see something and be like, oh, we have that in our garden, it's just great to be able to have that conversation with Miles. Yeah.
It is pretty cute. They're such little sponges. I remember when Juno was 3, she cracked out, something about an aeromophila. And I was just like, dude, how many kids know what an aeromophila? How many adults know what an aeromophila is? I'm like, I only learned that like a year ago. Yeah, so it is pretty cool. You're just like, whoa. It blows you away what they do pick up when you're out there. I thought of another low, if that's all right. But it's just like, those moments where you're a bit scared for your child's safety. So we did like the tabletop track in Litchfield National Park, just like a small section of it. Once again, it was with Elsie's siblings. And there's a lot of like bouldery, loosey bits, and you're just like, we're going super slow, but when you're carrying a child, you really are worried if you do fall. Like one of their limbs is just so sticky outy. You wonder, like, are you going to break an arm or a leg? And there was a couple of moments there when we're just like, oof. And with the heat as well, we're just like, we had a spray bottle, we kept spraying ourselves. But yeah, having a human pressed against your skin in that heat is just not nice.
Yeah, a little hot water bottle when you don't want one.
Yeah, not nice.
Yeah, we recently, Miles and I went. It wasn't really a hike. It was an urban bushland kind of walk, and he was so red in the face, and I was like, "Oh no, what have I done?" And I keep thinking about in Cape Range National Park where Ningaloo is. A kid died with his dad. They went out and they hiked in summertime on like the Bajira Trail. Yeah, they're so. And that's just in the back of my head. It's just like, you got to be careful with that sort of stuff.
I think that's the one, isn't it? You just and just being doubly careful. And like you mentioned, the wind. I think anytime the weather's not great when you're trying to hike with kids, it's terrible. Like the wind or the heat or rain. I just can't even imagine trying to hike through rain. Like proper rain would be pretty miserable.
Yeah.
Yep. So on that, for any parents that are listening, what's the best advice that you could give, especially ones that are a bit on the fence about, do I take my kids out? Like, what are the risks? How do you mitigate them? That kind of stuff.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of research. I'm a scientist. I just love to research the wazoo out of where I'm going. I'd probably recommend doing a trail that you've already done before, but the huge one is just short distance. Like, don't be afraid to do like an overnight hike for like, 1K. So then you can at least carry the kid for a K with, a bit of weight on your back. Yeah, I think that's my big one.
Yeah, certainly that was when we did the first overnight. That was the idea, was that it was easy to get out if we needed to, because you need to be able to have that exit strategy. And I think the other thing is just get them interested while they're young. It's hard because it's so child dependent. Like I know people who have done exactly what I did, and their kid just was not into being carried. Whereas Miles, he would particularly when we graduated to the POCO, he would get so excited he would actually climb into the pack himself, just ready to get going.
Let's go.
And we did it. I take him for walks around the neighborhood as well, so it wasn't just the hikes that maybe we did over the weekend. It'll be something we do in the evenings together. So I think that making it fun, get him interested in it while they're young, if they are receptive to it. Those are really important things. And when you do graduate to overnights, look at ways of doing it that either have short distances or you have the exit strategy if you need to.
Yeah, I think that's the one. And just we reconfigured our gear a bit, and I know not everyone has the luxury to buy crazy ultralight tents, but I think a few little tweaks to your kit, I'm worried about you, not worried about you, like carrying 2 tents is like, that's so much weight, whereas I was lucky enough I bought this sort of ultralight tent that's it's a 4-person tent, but it's only like 2 kilos, so it's like there's heaps of room in there. It's nice and light. So there's a few little tweaks you can make if you can, manage to find those little bits of gear that aren't too crazy expensive.
Mm. Well, the first hike I ever did with Alyssa, that was a multi-day. She made me carry an 8-man camping tent. So,
ouch.
So
that's your baseline now.
Yeah, a Durston and a really light Big Agnes is perfectly fine.
Too bad, yeah. That's like, still under. Actually, probably your Durston and your Big Agnes would have been less than mine. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. No, I think I'm always a huge fan of, like, obviously having a decent first aid kit and knowing how to use it, and there's obviously a few more things you might need with a kid. Some of those fancy band-aids that they love always goes a long way. Frozen band-aid. That'll get you another K. And I love it. Good PLB is always, critical when you're hiking in areas that doesn't have good reception.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's more of a case of, like, just getting out there and doing it sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, when I said I was taking my nibblings out hiking, my sister's like, but they're too young and this and that. And I'm like, showed her an article on the Bib website about a family with a 10-year-old who'd done a complete end-to-end. I'm like,
that's mad, isn't it?
It's,
so good.
There's kids out there, like, they're pretty resilient. Like, you can throw a lot at them and they'll adjust.
Yeah. And I think, that's so true. We put our own, like, what we think is their limit. And I remember one day on the light to light, like, I thought, we pushed her a bit. She's done 4Ks. We got to camp, and then she, like, starts running around and doing push-ups, and, like, she's like, I want to be the fastest in my class at school, so I gotta train. And I'm like, dude, you just been walked for 4Ks and then carried you for 6, so clearly I didn't need to carry you for that.
No more carrying for you.
You'll be walking.
Yeah, Miles has been doing this thing sometimes where he says, I want to win. So, like...
Go, I'm going to chase you.
Yeah, you go, you run. Yeah, that's also another motivator as well to get him going.
Like,
it's
let's
like,
race.
you can beat me to the camp.
Yeah, you got to use all those carrots. Like, it's like, this or that, or, when we get there, we can do this, or, But yeah, I think that's the thing, when you run out of energy yourself, you're like, my creativity is tanked. Just please walk.
Yeah.
And I found it useful to kind of pocket the dad jokes a little bit. Like, with my friends, I'm always like, yep, last hill, this is it. But you do that with kids and they take it literally. They're like, you promised. Like, not the last hill.
Yeah.
I guess we kind of touched on this a little bit before, but how has having kids changed your hiking approach?
Should I jump in that one?
Go ahead.
I think, the main one, my personal hiking is just I've got the two-way satellite communication, my little Zolio now, so I can, touch back base and make sure everything's okay when I'm out there. But yeah, I think it makes me enjoy it more, my hiking, because it is such a privilege to have this time away from your family, knowing that your partner's picking up, all the work at home, and it's made me really value that time, and also understand personally how important that is for me to get out. Like, I like to get out at least for an overnight, maybe once a month. Otherwise, like, I feel like my mental health just starts to deteriorate if I don't get out on trail. And have a little bit of time in nature, and so I think it's helped me to appreciate the role that hiking plays in my life, and how important it is, and hopefully I can pass that on to my daughter.
Yeah, I'd say very similar for me. It is, as you say, it's a privilege to be able to go and do that and have that time away from the family, and I very much need it because I work in a desk job in this very room, and I never leave this room pretty much. So it's very important to me that I have that time, and I need, like, I kind of always have this sort of, my benchmark is like one big multi-day per quarter is what I aim for.
That's nice.
And it's been difficult to achieve that with the kid, but that's the ideal, and when I get my long service leave, I will attempt to do that. Yeah. But that's certainly the thing, as I was saying, like I think the things that I look for, I probably look for stuff that's going to be too hardcore because Alyssa will never want to do them with me.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
do the South Coast track, go and
Yeah.
do the Dusky track,
Yeah.
do the stuff the Orlando Winter, do the stuff that is going to be too difficult, and also while I'm young enough to still do those things.
Yeah, before the knees start to...
Yeah, exactly. And then there's things I'm probably a little bit more happy to repeat a trail. I'm very much a non-repeater.
Yeah.
So, being able to repeat it with Miles is a big deal. And then also I think about trails and go, oh, well, that one's one that I could do as a family, so I'll hold off on doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're mostly a formal trail guy, aren't you? You're not really a create your own track or bit of both.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think there's like probably the sort of curatorial quality of it being a repeatable experience is something that I look for. And so because of that, I have like a list of, formally, existing trails.
No, that's cool. I mean, they're the good ones, aren't they?
In that sense, because you do a lot of off track and sort of make your own adventures.
Sort of, yeah. Not
Yeah.
yeah, that's it.
Is that something that you prioritize as something you do by yourself?
Yeah, I think so. It's strange. I've been hiking a lot with friends lately, and I've really enjoyed that part of it. I mean, it's the same. I don't know if your listeners aren't hikers, they probably not listen to this podcast, but I find like hiking with kids, the same category of like a solo hike versus a hike with friends is very different kettle of fish. Like there's, beautiful things that happen from both sides. Like, with friends, you're laughing, you're having fun, you're, chatting the whole way. Or solo can be hard because, the whole mental burden's on you. And then hiking with kids is a different like kettle of fish again. But yeah, I love off-track stuff and just, getting out the map. And I don't know if you can see it in the background, I've got the Butterwang sketch map behind me. Just like, I'm sure people have been there before, obviously, but like just thinking, oh, what's down there? And, chatting to people. And, in COVID, this old timer gave me all his old maps. He printed them out and sent them to me. He's like, oh, this is where we went down here. And, just getting a bit creative when you're thinking about where to go. Most of the time I regret the decisions I make because you're like in Hakia and you're just like, why don't I just do more formal trails? Like, I'm an idiot. But there is something beautiful about it too. So, yeah, horses for courses, I guess. Like
following a river to its source.
Yeah. That was really cool. Luckily, I'd sort of known a few people that had done it, and I'm like, I'm 90% sure I actually can get through, because that's the thing you never want to do is like walk yourself into somewhere and be like, oh, I've got to spend 5 days walking out the other way. Yeah. So, I mean, it is fun, isn't it? Like that exploratory stuff. But I guess it's even fun on a formal trail. You're exploring it for the first time yourself, and yeah.
With repeatable trails that you mentioned, Donovan, and also Kate, things that you've done before, do you find that you see them in a different light rehiking them with your kids? Or is it like just a bit of a different experience?
I'd say, certainly I've done a lot more day hikes with Miles that I've repeated. There's a lot of multi-days that I'm waiting for him to be a bit older. So like, they're finally, after so long, fixing the Wilson's Prom track. And that's one that I really want to do with Miles when he's older. And I want to just secretly book the lighthouse and not tell him that that's what's going to happen.
Unless he listens to this podcast.
He won't listen to this. It's fine. So yeah, I'd say on the day hikes where we have hiked together, there's certainly things that I look for things that are a bit that I wouldn't be looking for, because I kind of you've hiked with me. I don't care about a lot of the stuff that you stop for, whereas I kind of stop more because Miles wants to see those things. I probably we do Pierce Brook a lot, so we walk through there, and we stop and play in the creek whenever we probably pretty much annually we'll go and have a bit of a splash in the creek. So I know bits of that trail in a different way to how I would have when I did it by myself, because I'd be like, oh yeah, that's nice, and kept walking.
Zoom. Yeah. That's so true, isn't it? It's like it forces you to see things and point things out more when you're hiking with a kid. It's like when you film, like I find it, because I do my YouTube videos, someone's like, oh, isn't that distracting? You can't just like hike and enjoy it. And I'm like, well, actually, no, sometimes it forces me to be like, whoa, look at that thing. Whereas before I just be like, yeah, cool. And but then I'll just be like, I'll stop for a minute and like, take a few shots and be like, oh, wow, the light's really beautiful. Or I don't know. It's just a different way of looking at the world, isn't it? Through your kids' eyes. Is quite sweet. Yeah.
Back to a more technical question. With the carriers, what was the transition to getting them to walk a bit more and kind of the difficulties with, moving them on their own 2 feet compared with being carried around?
Yeah. I mean, so we abandoned the carrier, I can't remember how long ago, but pretty early on. I think just because the weight started to get too heavy for me to do it. And I wanted to like just be able to hike with myself and my daughter. And so then I needed the full pack to be able to carry all the gear. So the transition, I think, I guess just naturally they start to walk more. And I was just doing day walks here and noticing she can go further and further. So I guess it's just a gradual thing for us. Yeah, what about you, Donovan?
Yeah, I'd say it's certainly, it was mostly driven by Miles, so he wanted to walk more.
Cool.
Nice. So we definitely saw that. And then sometimes we'd have to tell him, no, you have to be carried because you're taking too long. Because, he's obviously tired and he's dragging his feet. Yeah. And it's just like, no, you have to be carried now, even though he doesn't really want to. So I noticed that last year, for sure, that the previous year he was very happy to be carried. And then last year it became, I want to walk more. And then we kind of had to let him out and walk. And then when he was just going a bit too slow, we'd carry him. But it was a bit of a protest. He didn't want to be carried.
Yeah. That's the hard part, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think we're going to reach probably an awkward stage where he's not able enough to do something, but he's too heavy for me to carry. And I can see that coming, maybe not this year, but certainly next year.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, I think my daughter's about 14 kilos. She's quite a small 4-year-old, but that's heavier than my backpack ever. I mean, maybe on like a long 6 day or something, I might have 14 kilos in my pack, but it's just, it is a huge chunk of weight when you are carrying a child that size, and they only get bigger.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah. I think between sort of 5 and 7, there'll be a bit of an awkward phase. I can see that happening.
Yeah, because I guess it just have to be shorter hikes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've tried a few different sort of techniques, or like my full pack, and then what I call like a whoopee sling. It sort of like just goes under their bum and around your, like kind of a postman sack kind of vibe, but because that's lighter than like a full baby carrier or child carrier. But I don't know, like, after a while, if you're carrying them on your side sling, it gets pretty heavy. And I've looked into a few like online things. There's like this trail magic thing that clips into your pack, but it's basically just a little seat. But once again, you're just putting a heap more weight on your frame, so there's issues with that as well once they get over sort of the 14 kilos.
Yeah.
I mean, we always make fun of Donovan because he wears the Arn packs with the fun bags on the front.
Yeah.
You can kind of balance yourself out there. You just have to carry a lot on the back.
Where do you put the kid? Yeah. Just put them on your shoulders. Have you seen there's one of those ones that you can put on your shoulders? But like, oh my God, imagine if you have an accident if it's just sitting on your shoulders. Yeah. Like, that's just scary.
Yeah, for sure. That's quite a significant fall from the top.
Yeah. Or even just like walking on a trail and there's like overhanging branches. It's just the kids got scratches all over.
we have done that for sure. Just with the Poco, because it's a bit higher. Yeah. Where Miles was just like, we're walking through this overgrown track, just keeping whacking.
Stop your crying, Miles. It's nothing. Look at all this beautiful scenery.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is, yeah, I mean, the other configuration we did, just jumping around, when we did with like 4 adults and my daughter, we only took 3 like hiking backpacks, and so the adult that was carrying my daughter would just have this small day pack with them. So that was sort of a good little, I guess, hack, and it worked quite well. But yeah, then the other 3 people get pretty decent packs if they're carrying 4.5 people's gear.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so finishing up, I'll do a 2-parter. If you could both give some fantastic family-friendly hikes in your area, so WA for Donovan and ACT New South Wales for you, Kate. And then
day hikes or overnights?
Why not both? Why not both?
Yeah.
And then the second part, what are your plans going forward? Because obviously your kids are roughly the same age, within a year. How do you see the next few years going hiking-wise for you?
Ooh. Oof. Good hikes in my area. There's this one beautiful hike called the Big Hole in the Marble Arch. It's about an hour from Canberra. And, you know, it starts off, you cross the Shoalhaven River where it's really beautiful and like braided stream. So that's, you know, pretty good hit. And then, yeah, it's not too far to this big hole in the ground. And like often you'll see a lyrebird there. It's sort of like is it cast, you know, limestone. And then probably the Marble Arch might be a bit much for them, but it starts to go down to this beautiful gorge area. But then, you know, Canberra being Canberra, a bit the same, maybe like WA, but a lot of our suburbs have beautiful little mountains or hills backing onto them. So in Canberra, they have what's called the Centenary Trail. It's like I can't remember, a couple of 100 Ks, I don't know. It goes around all these mountain hills. So all those areas I think are really great for little day hikes in Canberra because they're super close and you know, there's a diversity of, you know, more river areas versus mountain areas. Overnight hikes? Ooh, I don't know. Yeah. That's one of the really good overnights. I think the first overnight hike I did with my daughter was on the Centenary Trail. They've got one campsite, the Northern Border campsite, and there's like little huts and water tanks, so you don't have to worry about carrying water. And depending on where you park your car, you can actually sneak in probably about 2 or 3 Ks. So that's a nice little family friendly one. Did you want to jump with your
sure.
Or before I?
Yeah, so obviously Whistlepipe Gully is a good one for kids because it's, you know, pretty short. It's got a lot of interest because there's the creek, so they can have a bit of a splash. You're probably going to need to carry them up, but Mount Cook from the Plantation car park, it is tough. Because you'll have to carry them up. But Miles has walked the entire ridge by himself once we got up to the summit. So he loved that because I think the views, getting to see everything, and if you go through the Plantation car park, there's that little creek as well. So anything where there's a creek, I think is the answer. For multi-days, Mount Clare is a really good one because of the very short distance from the car park to the campsite and back. There's a few other things like that with the Bibbulmun where there's campsites that are not far from the start. So I think, particularly...
Ball Creek would be a good one.
Yeah, Ball Creek. We have done Ball Creek with Miles. The other one that is, like Camel Farm to Hewitt's Hill is also pretty short. It's not super interesting, but, at Hewitt's Hill there's all those granite boulders to climb on. So I think the things that kids...
That's a good boulder.
Yeah, the things that I find is that, granite boulders... creeks, anything where there's a bit of climbing involved is generally a big fun thing. When we went to Pemberton, he really enjoyed just things like we did the tree with the hole in it, and he loved the waterfalls. So things like that, the cascades, those sort of things are probably the walks that I'd suggest doing. And then multi days. I think New South Wales, unfortunately for West Australians, I think that with some of the things they've done with their great walks that they're trying to produce, they've made them really family friendly and very beginner friendly. So like Murrumarang, if it's not super windy, then the Grand Clifftop Walk in the Blue Mountains, those options, because you don't need to carry a tent. does make it easier when you're having to deal with hiking with a kid. Yeah.
And plans going forward, Kate? Have you got like an AAW
my
team
grand
winter?
plan. Yeah, I really, really want to, and this is crazy, but I want to hike the Bibbulmun with my daughter. So like, you know, like it might have to wait till she's 10 or 12 or something, but just like take, I don't know, like 3 months off? I don't know, just do it sort of real slow, and I'd love to do that, but you know, hopefully life finds a time for me to do that, and if she's interested. But I think that would be a huge one I'd love to do, but that's pretty long term.
Yep. And you, Donovan? I know you have plans already.
Yeah. So I have
Wednesday.
I have plans. So when he's 7, we're gonna go and do 2 weeks. So we're gonna go up to Cape Range and Ningaloo and then go to Karajini. And I just want to blow his mind with like, you know, just get him with the, you know, with just how amazing Karajini is. You know, hiking in the gorges. You know, in Cape Range, the Bajira Trail when it's not summertime is marvelous. Yeah. So stuff like that.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I really want to get him into that. And I guess just the love that I have for just the north of Australia is just, you know, such a magical place. So that, and then from when he's 8 onwards, my plan is to do a section of the Bibbulmun every year.
Oh, nice.
That's
sensible.
Yeah. I mean, I live here, so, you know, it's easy for me.
Yeah.
So there's that, and, you know, I think when I would love to do something like, you know, I've saved the 3 Capes as a hike that I want to do. I mean, I just did the free Capes not that long ago.
Yeah, cool.
But
nice.
I've saved the 3 Capes experience for one to do with Miles. So that's something I think he'll... Yeah. That's a good one for kids where it's inviting.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, we want to do some actually. Sorry, jumping around. A bit of stuff in Europe. You know, dreaming big, but you know, because you can sleep in those little cabins and stuff, and so you know, you're just taking the minimal amount of gear. And my partner loves Europe, so everyone will be happy.
Yeah, I feel like places like Tassie, New Zealand, Europe, where you don't have to carry everything, is probably a bit more friendly when you've got kids.
Yeah.
Europe would be amazing.
A hot meal, like we did like this tiny one. It was so short, but yeah, like we went out there and for like €70, we got accommodation, dinner, 3-course dinner, and like 2-course breakfast. I was like, yeah, this is pretty nice.
That's pretty nice.
Which is great considering how much kids eat. That's good value.
Yeah, not having to cook and like, it was great.
Yeah. All right, well, thanks very much, Kate, for both coming on and also staying up late because there is a bit of a time difference between us in WA.
No, thank you so much. It's been really exciting because I actually started listening to you guys way back, like before I started my YouTube channel or anything like that. So I've always been quite a fan of the podcast. So thanks for having me on.
We've been big fans of yours. I remember when you went on alone, I'm like, oh, hey, it's a lady I follow on Instagram.
I think
I know that chick.
The first thing I saw was your Cape to Cape videos when you did that. And that was years and years ago now.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I've done some great WA hikes just because my work always sends me over there. So I'm like, anytime they send me over, I'm like, okay, Cape to Cape, Calbarry. Yeah, it's been great. Stirling Ranges.
Yeah.
Good. Well, we'll have to have you back on
hikes
to talk about hiking, just plain hiking, no kids.
Yeah.
Nerd out about.
Now that we've got the technology sorted, that's a lot easier.
Absolutely.
Hopefully you haven't heard my end of the recording yet. Oh, God.
And one day we will hike together because I know we've tried to make this work a few times and it just hasn't worked.
I'm a bit scared I've got a work trip that might be clashing with...
Oh, no.
Anyway, we'll see.
Yeah, okay.
Never know. And also, I'm like, maybe I'm just chickening out. Like, overland in winter just doesn't sound fun.
I've already chickened out.
Yeah. I'm like, hang on.
I think it'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, it would be fun. I just have no skills where it comes to that stuff.
Yeah, it's type 2 fun.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks very much, Kate. And thanks everyone for listening.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you everyone for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode or any other episode of Real Trail Talk, then please rate us on whatever platform you're currently listening to us on. Ratings really help us to reach an audience, especially those who are looking to learn about the outdoors in Western Australia and Australia in general. If you had any questions or suggestions for future episodes, you can email us at realtrailtalk@gmail.com or contact us through our social media channels. Thanks again, and stay tuned for our next episode.